Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure when you're actually watching this first video of History 112. This is, if you have your syllabus in front of you, which I certainly hope you do. By the way, I'm Dr. Teresa Ost. I'll be with you for this semester. If you happen to have your syllabus with you, and like I said, I hope you do, I would always keep it close at hand, keep an electronic copy. I would also print out a couple of hard copies and make sure you always have one available. If you go to the list of assignments and dates, this is video 0. It's our very first video. It's kind of a get to know each other, a little bit about the syllabus, a little bit about directions and how the actual course is going to go. Our first history lecture is number 1, which you also need to try and complete this week. So anyhow, the point about, I should tell you, video 0 is because I miscalculated and I already typed up all this stuff and I didn't want to retype it. So the first video, this one, that you're watching right now, is 0. And then we're going to go 1 through 22, which will take us to the end of the semester, and in between that time we'll have some other assignments. Alright. I'm very glad to be working with you this semester. I realize these are difficult times for a lot of different reasons. Finances, job loss, political craziness, COVID-19. So this is a difficult time. I do not normally teach online. I've only done it once before, and that was like in March and April, under duress when we had to all go to online. This is not what I usually do, but I can always learn new things, and I'm certainly willing to try. And I'm trusting that you will be patient and kind, and I will be patient and kind, and that we will somehow work this out together. I do realize that some of you may be taking some online classes and some hybrid classes and some conventional, traditional main campus classes. So your schedules are going to be a little bit more confusing perhaps than usual. And I think it's going to require of all of us, and students in particular, that you be very well organized and very focused and pay attention to schedules, deadlines, syllabi, etc. So you will find that I'm probably going to talk about that and emphasize that more than you were expecting, because I want to encourage you on a regular basis, since you and I, we will not be having actual face-to-face contact, and we're not going to be having simultaneous, what are called synchronous classes, where all of you would be talking heads, in a circle on the screen, and I would be lecturing. So we're going to do it this way. I should also mention to you, if you have any questions or any concerns as we go along, jot them down. Keep some paper in front of you, or I don't know, keep your computer open. But no looking at YouTube videos or porn or anything else unless I recommend it, which of course I'm not going to recommend it. Keep some paper in front of you. Jot down your ideas, your concerns. If I don't answer your concerns or your questions, if reading through the syllabus carefully, it's a long syllabus on purpose because we don't have the classroom experience to talk with each other, and so I had to put a lot of information in the syllabus. If you don't have the answer and you've carefully read the materials that I sent you, and we will be communicating via email, the school email, Reinhardt email. If you still don't have an answer, then of course email me. But you need to tell me who you are. People forget to do this. Give me your full name. Tell me what class you're in. I have 4 sections of History 112. History 112 01, 02, 03, 04. You will know which one you're in because it'll be on your registration slip, your course list. So you need to tell me who you are and which class you're in, and then describe for me as best you can what your concern, your question, your whatever is. And I should go ahead and tell you right now, I'm not keeping formal office hours because I'm not in my office. And the problem with formal office hours is, let's say I said I was going to be in my office between 12 and 2 Monday through Friday. And I could do that from home because you know what, I'm going to be sitting in front of my computer waiting for you guys to email me, call me, ask me a question from 12 to 2. Some of you are going to be in your other classes from 12 to 2. Some of you may be working a job from 12 to 2. Some of you may be home taking care of your children from 12 to 2. That's not very practical. We're in this very flexible, confusing, people are wearing lots of different hats, they're doing lots of different things. So I want you to email me or call me if that becomes necessary. We can certainly talk on the phone when it's convenient for you. For some of you, it'll be convenient for you to send me an email at 3 a.m. in the morning. Obviously, some mornings I'm up at 3 a.m., sometimes I'm not. I will try very hard to respond to you within 4 to 12 hours, no matter when you email me. On the weekends, it might be 24 hours. So, realize I also have a family and a life and children and grandchildren and chores. Gosh, that's an old-timey word. My grandmother would have said chores. I have important things to do. Anyhow, jot down your questions. Jot down your concerns. And if you don't find the answers, then email me. And I've written this down in a dozen places. It's TLA at Reinhardt, REINHARDT.edu. And it comes straight to me, and I will respond to you as quickly as I can. I used to get very bored in classes where there was nothing but straight lecture. And so it always helped me if the teacher, the professor, would occasionally change things up. Change the topic, do something different. And that's kind of become my habit. That's how I teach. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Just general information so that you'll kind of know who I am and what my background is. And if any of you want to send me an email and tell me about yourself, that would be cool. I'll toss all of those into a file folder, and I'll kind of know a little bit more about who you are. Okay. I'm old. I'm in my 60s. And for those of you who just thought, wow, for 60-something, her wrinkles are not so bad. Thank you. You're right, they're not. I could be wrinklier. Of course, I could look a lot younger, too. I've been teaching on the college level for, I think it's 28 years. But for 24 years, I've been teaching at Reinhardt University. So I've been here a pretty long time. And I teach history, and I teach something called interdisciplinary studies. And if any of you want to talk about that in a semester or two, I'm also the program coordinator. And I can tell you what interdisciplinary studies basically allows you to kind of create your own path, create your own degree, your own major. There are some parameters, but it gives you a lot of flexibility. And a lot of people do history and English, and then maybe communications or sociology. It's just a very flexible major. We can talk about it if you want to. So, my background, I'm an Air Force brat. My father was Air Force. We traveled a good bit. I lived in a number of different states on Air Force bases. I was fortunate to spend 3 years in Athens, Greece, with my father at an Air Force base. So I like travel. I like foreign countries. My father's family, by the way, is Polish, and they survived World War II, both the Nazis and the Soviets, and then immigrated to America in 1951. So my family background's a little bit interesting, and it's probably why I ended up being so interested in history. Okay, my bachelor's degree is from Kennesaw State University. I got my MA and my PhD from Emory, downtown, Emory University. And in between my first degree and the second two degrees, I got married. I had three boys, and I was a stay-at-home mom, involved in the community, the church, my children's schools. And then I went back to school right around 30 and got two more degrees. So I have my three sons are, of course, in their early 40s now, in their, around 40. They're all married. I have three grandchildren. Not that you want to know, but the oldest is Annabelle. She's 16. And then Joshua is 15 and a half. And Matthew is 12. Interesting and different grandchildren. Okay. So looking at my outline, outlines are good things, you might want to remember that. I told you where to send your questions, tla@reinhardt.edu. I explained why I'm not going to do formal office hours. Kind of my life are my office hours. And I want to mention this as well. On your syllabus, you should have my personal cell phone number, 404-670-5690. If you have an urgent need or question, if you've been in a car accident, if something dreadful has happened and you need to go home for a while, or if you just need to contact me about something, and it's not something that would be a good using email. By the way, I don't text. I should tell you this. Most of you are going to laugh, and then some of you are going to shake your head and say, oh my God, she's a dinosaur from the dark ages, which is true, I am. Do not text me. I do not text. I have an old-timey, I love it. It's exactly what I want. I'm not poor. I could buy an iPhone if I want to. I don't want a smartphone. I don't want an iPhone. I don't want a phone that is more complicated than it has to be. I don't want a phone that's a computer. I have a computer. I'm on it right now. I have an old-timey flip phone, which means it's extraordinarily difficult to text on. And I'm extraordinarily clumsy. My thumbs are pathetic. I don't text. I don't read text. I mean, I might read a text like, my doctor says appointment on Monday at 3. I'll read that. But if they want an answer from me, I'll type N for no and Y for yes, and that's it. So don't text me. Old-timey email. Send me an email. That'll work. Remember when I said just a second ago, I need in an email. Oh my God, I said text. In an email, I said I need your full name, that you're in History 112, which section. When you turn in an assignment to me, whether it's a homework assignment or eventually your midterm or your final exams, I need your full name. I need History 112 on there, and I need to know what section you're in. In any given semester, I have between 75 and 100 students. that I have to keep track of, and keep track of your grades and your assignments and your attendance and so on and so forth. So I need you to do that for me. I need you to let you might be surprised how many people will send me an assignment and they totally forgotten to put any information on it. You'd be surprised how many people send me an email and there's no subject line. I don't know who wrote me. I don't know what's going on. And then in the bottom you type, Jazzy. That's your nickname. I don't know who you are. I don't know how to figure out who you are, and that sort of stuff. So work with me. I'm going to try and work with you. I'm going to try and come into the modern world. It's called online. For me, it's called online teaching. And I need you to be equally patient and kind and thoughtful, and try to send me material in a way that I can access it. Okay. What else do I need to tell you? I will probably, most of the information that you need about this course is going to be in your syllabus and in a couple of handouts that I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you handouts that give you exactly what you need to do for homework assignments, which is the textbook. I will send you information about taking notes, the notes that you take on the lectures that I'm going to be posting on YouTube. That is, by the way, I went with YouTube because that was the simplest, easiest system or platform for me to use. And I know that you all know how to use YouTube and that you watch videos. So I chose an approach that was the simplest, the cleanest, and the most likely to always be up and running. And by the way, in your syllabus, you will have noticed I've actually embedded the links. If you keep a copy of your syllabus in your computer, or your smartphone, I guess, you can click on the link and it will take you directly to the video that you want to watch. Or you can copy and paste that little link into the actual YouTube website. You'll figure it out because you're good. Aside from these things, handouts, syllabi, etc., I will probably try to send you a weekly email, maybe with suggestions, helpful ideas. Maybe I'll answer some of your questions. It occurred to me that if you, as an individual, have a question, somebody else in the class probably does too. And so I may send out answers, information. Check your email. It's really important to check your email. There's going to be a lot of garbage in your email. You may consider it spam. Just toss it, or don't completely toss it. Don't erase it just in case you need it. But from your faculty, from the school deans, from the provost or the president, you probably need to, those usually have information that you might need to see. Okay. Attendance has come up. We need to talk about attendance. Attendance is important. You may or may not know this, but most universities, including ours, get some financial help from the federal government. Some taxpayer money, not very much, unfortunately, but there'll be some taxpayer money that Reinhardt gets to help with expenses and to run the university. In order to receive that money, the government has a lot of rules and regulations. They want to know who our students are. They want to know how many faculty we have. What kinds of courses are we teaching. And they want to know who is attending. So we are actually legally required to keep some sort of attendance records. And if we were in a classroom together, then I would be taking attendance every time we're together in class. But we're not. And hold on one second, I need to take a drink, excuse me. Let me interrupt myself to make one comment real quickly. And I'll probably say this repeatedly. Don't forget that this is a video that you can pause and go get a drink, or go check on your baby, or run to the bathroom, or get a snack, or find that book that you need that you forgot to bring with you, or just get away from my voice for a few minutes. You know, taking breaks, usually taking 2 or 3 breaks in an hour lecture is a really good idea. It tends to allow you to refresh your brain. There's actually research on this, that the synapses in the brain, if you kind of stop and back away from a subject or a topic that you're talking about, and you do something, you think something totally different, you take a walk, you go outside, you play ball with your dog, you listen to some music, and you come back 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. Don't wander off and not come back. That's not a good idea. You need to stay organized, and you need to get your work done, and you don't want to get overwhelmed. And so do come back and finish the lecture, take the notes, whatever it is you need to do that day. But taking a break is a really good idea. So take breaks. And I may actually stop the recording and take a break. But for you, it'll just like a click or blip, and then I'll start talking again. So back to attendance, because that's what I was talking about. That I wanted to find a very simple, easy way to take attendance, because I have to report attendance. And there were all these fancy, complicated modules, platforms, apps that I don't know how to use, that I tried to learn, and I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. And it was complicated. And I was trying to also think in terms of, how can I make this particular course as simple for students as possible? In other words, yes, I know you know how to do apps, but how many different apps and systems do you want to have to juggle to get through a semester in college? I would think that less is better than more. So here's the deal. Beginning with video 1, which you need to watch and take notes on this week. By the way, you probably have noticed your syllabus is set up not day by day, because you all have different schedules. And since this is an online course, as long as you get the assignments done, as long as you listen to the lectures within the week and kind of keep going, you're fine. So if you want to listen to both lectures on Monday, go for it. If you don't get around to it, but you have a big chunk of free time on Wednesday, and you want to watch them both on Wednesday, that's fine. If you want to watch one on Tuesday and one on Saturday, that's fine. But you need to try and do them in the week that they're assigned. Maximum, the way this YouTube program is set up, the YouTube videos will be available to you for 14 days, and then they're called retired. They'll disappear. So you'll have 14 days from the date assigned, but I would strongly encourage you to stay caught up. The lectures and the notes that you take are the basis for your midterm and your final exams. So you need to be taking notes and saving them. Taking notes and saving them. One of the first things I want you to do is set up a file folder. History 112. Every email from me, every handout, a copy of your syllabus, a copy of every assignment you need to work on, and a copy of all of your lecture notes needs to be put into either an electronic file, if you're doing everything online with your computer, or if you're a person, there are a few people who still like to take notes by hand, then you can either scan them and put them into an electronic file, or you can actually have a paper file, History 112. You need to hold on to and be able to access at any time all these materials. When you're preparing for the midterm and the final exam, what you're going to need to look at are all of your notes. You will not have time, and they won't be available, to revisit or relook at the videos. You've taken notes. You've taken notes. You've taken notes. And you need to title the notes. I'm going to harp on this. This is about the French Revolution. This is about the Industrial Revolution. This is about European governments. So that when you, and because you will end up with a study guide, I will actually send you a list of the possible essay questions and topics for your exam. You'll be doing an open book, open notes, in your case, open notes, midterm at home. And you will be able to consult. I expect you to consult your notes. Normally that's not the way it works in class, but this is an online course and it's different. You need to be able to quickly go to your folders, find all of your notes, put them in the right order, and use them to help you do your midterm and your final exams. So very, very important. Here's the deal. When we're talking about attendance, when you've watched a video, let's say video 1, which is coming up, and it's about European governments, and most videos, by the way, will be about 55 to maybe 75 minutes at the most. Whether you're a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, course lecture time is supposed to come down to about 2 hours and 30 minutes total, however it's divided up. So don't worry about how it's divided. When you watch video 1, European governments, and you take notes, I want you to send me a copy of your notes. When I get a copy of your notes, I mark you down as having attended that class. And then I'm going to delete them. I don't keep them. I don't grade them. Now, if I might make a helpful suggestion if I can, but I want you to send me a copy of your notes. You have saved your notes into your History 112 folder, and you just send me an email and you attach a copy of your notes. And that way I'm keeping attendance. I'm keeping, or for example, let's say that somebody doesn't send me any notes for 2 weeks. Well, then I know something's not right, and there's a problem, and there's a concern, and I might reach out to you. Or I might ask the school nurse to reach out to you. Or if you're in a dorm, I might ask your dorm leader, whoever that is, to check on you, to see how you're doing. And if you're fine, and you want me to mind my own business, then I will. Okay. So attendance. You keep a copy of all your notes. You make sure that you put down video 1, video 2, video 3, European governments, whatever it is, because later on, you don't want to be going through 30 pages of notes and not knowing what is what. You want to be able to immediately recognize, this is the chunk of notes about the Russian Revolution. Okay. How your grade is determined, that's in your syllabus. I'll mention it very briefly. Your homework assignments that are based on the textbook, they are equal, when you finish all those assignments, they are equal to 40% of your final grade. Your midterm is 30%. I usually grade it a little bit more gently. And then once you've done it once, because my final exam is just like the midterm. It's not different, it's not weird, it's not strange. You will get a study guide with a set of topics. You'll be told how much to write, how to structure your essays. I've got a good handout on that, which I'm not going to give you yet, because we're just getting started and you need to focus on what you can. And I realize the first couple of weeks of every semester are usually, especially if you're a freshman, and I'm assuming that most of you are, not all of you, the first couple of weeks are usually busy and a little bit confusing. So again, you're going to think, oh my God, she's such a nag. I am a nag. That's my job. My job is to try and nag you pleasantly, remind you, encourage you to be organized, to be disciplined, to stay on top of things, to work ahead, to not lose papers, to make copies of stuff. That's kind of my job. And if we were in a classroom together, I would be saying almost the exact same things to you. I just wouldn't keep mentioning online or YouTube. That's all the difference there would be. Okay. One other thing I want to explain, because you may need to explain this to your parents, or you just may need the explanation for yourself. I realize probably some of you don't actually live at home. About the lectures, the video lectures. In your syllabus, and I do talk about this, and by the way, you should have all already received a letter from me. You should have received a copy of the syllabus from me and some other handouts. I'm assuming that you all have that. I'm assuming you've already bought your textbook, which you can either buy from our bookstore, or it's too late to actually buy it online, but that's a possibility. So I'm assuming that you have all those materials. And I talk about this in the syllabus, but I want to talk about it one more time. We could have had an online class where we all met, using Zoom, or not Skype, but use Zoom or Canvas or some sort of special platform software, and we would all meet at the same time and look at each other and talk to each other over our computer screens. That is called synchronous. Like when everything is done at the same time together, that's called synchronous. That would have meant that I would be, some of you would be meeting with me and the rest of the students at different times, specified class times during the week. Based on my experience last semester and a lot of articles that I've read and just plain old common sense, this is not a normal semester. It's unusual. It's different. We've had to make a lot of changes. All of us have. And I realize that many of you, we've talked about this already, you have part-time jobs, you have family members to take care of, you have, some of you are not driving to campus, you're not living on campus, you have very flexible, changeable schedules. Some of you are night people. Some of us like to work, sleep in late, and then stay up and work between, I'm telling you, I got 2 advanced degrees primarily by working between 12 midnight and 4 in the morning. And so we're all different. And maybe your free time is at the crack of dawn. Well, I'm not getting up. And somebody else's free time is, at 4 in the morning. I might be up, maybe not. We're all different. What I've chosen is called asynchronous. A, and the word synchronous, basically it means not synchronized. So that I'm making the videos I'm providing you with handwork. I'm sorry, my cat walked through and I lost my mind. I'm providing you with handouts. I am providing you with the video lectures in such a way that each of you can watch it when it's convenient for you. You're not on everybody else's schedule. You're not on my schedule. We don't have to all watch it together. Now what we lose is the opportunity to talk to each other during class. I have not found that most freshman classes do a lot of talking. I do most of the talking. And even when I shut up and I ask questions, freshmen are just kind of, most of you, not all of you, freshmen are usually pretty quiet. They're just focusing, they're just trying to take notes, they're just trying to get through the day. They've got a lot on their plate, a lot of work to do. So I don't find that a synchronized class, to my mind, is not the best choice for the online classes that I'm teaching. I don't think it's best for you or for me. Now there are other classes that you're going to take that may be synchronized, and you may take classes that are called hybrids, and you may take classes that are on campus, and that is totally fine. What works for some professors and some classes does or doesn't work for other professors and other classes. So I'm not criticizing anybody else's choices. I just want you to understand, from my viewpoint, this course may be a little bit difficult for you to get used to. You know, the idea that you're just taking notes and that I'm talking. But it gives you the flexibility to watch a lecture in the morning, in the afternoon, and late at night. All I would say is, one thing you do have to be careful with, and I already mentioned this, but I'm mentioning it again, because that's my job. That's the nagging part. I should use the word reminder. Reminder sounds nicer than nagging. So let's pretend that I've been saying reminder. Okay. I heard some of you. Some of you rolled your eyes just then and said, yeah, right. You're a nag. I heard you. You think I didn't hear you, but I heard you. Through the internet. Silently. I heard you. Okay. Yes, asynchronous is flexible. I want it to be flexible. It's designed to be flexible. Do not flexible yourself into getting so far behind that you have a really bad semester. It is very important, as much as you possibly can. Don't have too much fun. I mean, I want you to have fun. But remember, you've got a lot of different assignments, a lot of different work, in a lot of different classes. And once you get behind a week or two, it's very, very hard to catch up. So, I wish I could tell you that your entire college experience is going to be fun, 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 and you're going to love every lecture, and you're going to enjoy taking notes. I hope you will, but that's probably not true. But you still need to do the work, and you need to be organized. And when you do things, you need to check it off on your syllabus. I sometimes find that students will send me the same chapter of homework twice, and they've already sent it to me, but they forgot. You know, so do the things. Everybody is organized in a different way. I'm sure that you have figured out what are the best ways for you to stay organized and for you to get things done. So I encourage you to do that. We've talked about the embedded link. I think in your syllabus I mentioned that you can watch each video 1 or 2 or 3 times. I don't actually think you'll need to. And here's why. If you're in a classroom with me or some other professor and we're lecturing too fast, It's really hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up. One of the great advantages of a lecture that's on video is that you can pause it. So you're going along, I've been talking for 10, 15 minutes, and you realize you're getting a little bit behind on the note taking. Press pause, catch up your notes, write down everything you want to write down, and then turn the video back on. So that's one of the great advantages. I would estimate, I did it myself a couple times, that if you watch a basically an hour to 75 minutes lecture and you pause it 3 or 4 times, more if you need to, for 2 or 3 minutes here or there, you should be through with the video and the notes within an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes. That's a deal, people. You know, that's great. Usually the recommendation is if you're in the classroom for an hour, then you need to expect to do 2 hours at home. So now when I tell you that it'd probably only take you an hour and a half, don't forget you need to be working on the homework assignments, which again, they're long assignments, but you got 2.5, 3 weeks to do them. But you can't wait to the last minute. You need to be working on the homework assignments as you go. So that's part of your time. But all right. I actually think that's all that I have to say. Um, I'm going to try to be encouraging. I'm going to try to be interesting. You may not like history. A lot of people don't. Um, it might encourage you to know that I'm not real big on, I don't have students memorize lists of names and very few dates. I'm not going to say, I want you to memorize the name of these 12 treaties or these 12 generals. I tend to teach history more by telling stories, more by explaining not just what happened, how it happened, why it happened. I tend to teach history by pointing out to you, to the students, the social, the political, the cultural, the religious, the artistic factors and issues involved in what's happening in history. Also, because we're trying to cover Western Civ in less than 4 months, and that's like thousands of years of history, although really we started at 1600, so don't freak. We're going to talk about what happens in Europe between 1600 and basically 1945. But there's a lot of countries in Europe, and there's a lot going on. And a lot of what happens in Europe, of course, affects America. We are basically the inheritors of Western civilization. I tend not to teach straight military history. I don't teach straight political history. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give you a list of names and dates. I want you to understand the big movements and changes, what changed in Europe over 400 years, also what stayed the same. Those are called continuities. Are there some continuities in European civilization, Western civilization? We might talk a little bit about how is Western civilization different from other civilizations. I will pause from time to time. I'll probably try to make a couple of crummy little jokes. You'll find that sometimes I'm going to smile or laugh a little bit at something I've said, and you're like, okay, is she losing her mind? No, I'm not actually losing my mind. That's still ahead of me. I need to amuse myself. I need to keep myself interested as much as you. I've been doing this for 24 years. You do remember that I said that. And I actually do enjoy history, and I enjoy literature and music and sociology and religion. I find all of those things interesting, which is part of why I teach in the interdisciplinary studies program, because it allows you to study lots of different things. You do realize I use my hands. I've tried to quit, but it's just not possible. I love art. Look at my walls. I love other people's art, and a year and a half ago, I started painting myself. So I'm not going to tell you which ones are mine and which ones are somebody else's, unless you ask me, and then I might tell. Hint, hint. I'm just teasing. You don't need to ask me about art. I love literature. I love film. I actually teach several history classes with a lot of film in it. We'll talk about that later. If I laugh, and I'm going to try and get more comfortable with videotaping, video recording, videotaping. Oh my gosh. I really am over 100 years old, aren't I? That's a joke. That's funny. You can kind of smile, or you can smirk and go like, yeah, you look like you're over 100. It's okay with me. And you may think, she's just not really funny or clever or cute or anything. And that's okay. What I would say is, aren't you glad that you only have to watch 22 videos? And then it's over. So, see, you can either kind of like who I am, kind of like my personality, or you can think, wow, this really sucks. Thank the Lord. Thank heavens. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, fate. I only have to do this 22 times. And everything else is you working at your pace, in your home, in your dorm room, in your apartment, whatever it is. So you can find something positive whether you like me or you don't like me. It's only going to be one semester. I hope you like history. I hope you enjoy history. But if you don't, there's only 2 required history courses to get virtually any major at Reinhardt, except history. So you're going to need to take 2 history courses. I hope you will enjoy them. I hope this one's bearable. If I can help you, if you need guidance, I'll see what I can do. I'll try to help. If I don't have an answer for a problem that you have that you really need an answer to, I will find somebody. I'll send you to somebody who does have an answer. Okay, I said I was going to shush. There's a timer on my computer, as I'm sure you know. We are at 48 minutes and 28 seconds. So we're going to finish this a little bit early. So you can pretend that I'm letting you out of class early. Yes? Okay, good. I would move on pretty quickly this week. Watch that first video. It's in your syllabus. There's a link. If for whatever reason the link sometimes doesn't work, copy and paste. Send me emails if you have questions, and we're going to go on forward and hopefully make the best possible semester and the best possible experience out of this course that we can. I'm glad you're in the class. I hope things go well for all of us. Be safe, wear a mask, avoid crazy people, stay healthy. Any kind of sickness is yucky. COVID is really, really serious. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to stay healthy as best you can. I look forward to seeing you when we do lecture 1. I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.